Hi, everybody. Welcome to Pleasure is Metabolism. It's a masterclass with me, Sarah Clarke, coaching. I'm really excited to have you here today. So, what does that mean, pleasure is metabolism? Well, the bottom line is when we have diminished pleasure, we have diminished metabolism. Today, I want to ask you some questions and see where we can go with this. So how would you like to be able to eat more of the food you love and feel great? How would you like to be able to eat what you want and not worry about the weight? And how would you like to have more pleasure in your life and truly love your body? So let me tell you about one of my clients, Lily. So when I met her, she was in her mid-20s. She knew everything about how to restrict herself and do the most rigorous workouts, and she knew which diets she could lose weight on. But what was happening with her was that she wasn't just succeeding with losing the weight, she was gaining it back. And she was super frustrated. She had a lot of self-image challenges. She knew there had to be a better way, but she just wasn't really sure how to get there. So when she started working with me, she started to learn to listen to and trust her body's own messages rather than following the rules of a diet. It took some time, but she lost 70 pounds and she's kept it off for 2 years. So here I am. You can see me in pictures and in movies. So why I'm here? I believe that we are put on the planet for more than just to lose weight or to get a perfect shape. I believe that our society will only find balance when women are fully empowered in their strengths and gifts. I believe that embodied transformational work is essential to creating lasting change. And I believe that women can break out of the myths that they have been taught around their roles in society, especially around their bodies, that keep them small. And so they can really excel to be true to who they are without limit. Thank you for watching this masterclass. It takes courage to check out something new. And thank you for your time, because that's a real gift too. So since we're going to spend a little time together, if it's okay, I'd really like to share with you a bit more about me. So I'm happily married to my husband, Dave. We've been married 6 years. I'm a dedicated yoga practitioner. I also love Pilates and dance. I have 2 sons, and I live in a beautiful place where we get to explore. Here I am with my older son. This was back at the beginning of March, and we were being maybe a little cautious around COVID. We learned how to wear masks later on. Here's a picture of him without his mask. Here I am doing yoga in my home studio. Hey, and I love to travel. So last summer, a year ago, I had the great opportunity to go with my family and a dear friend to 6 countries in Europe, including here we are in Slovenia, which is right on the Adriatic Sea. We were in this little beautiful medieval fishing town called Piran. What a treat. And boy, was the food good there. Oh, and of course, marmalade. Got to include him. Can't do it without him. I have been fortunate to coach all kinds of amazing people, mostly women, all over the country. And here we are at a weekend retreat that we did with my clients in Manzanita, Oregon, on the Oregon coast, just over a year ago. And that was an awesome time. So another thing that happened this year, before we were restricted on travel, I might add, was I had the opportunity to do some really deep personal growth. Dave and I, my husband, got to be in a rope challenge course. We were 40 feet above the ground. It was something. And it was scary. Here I am about to go on the zip line. I was 40 feet up and I did not want to push myself off. This, if you don't know what it looks like, is the face of true fear. I have never been so scared. I did eventually make it. I don't know if you can hear the cheering on this recording, but I made it over. That was really something. So I'm living a pretty good life, and I feel fortunate, but it wasn't always so easy. And you know, I I was I was raised in a lot of different countries actually, um, and as a little kid, I thought life was great. You know, I loved to be outside. I loved to play. I uh, I love to swim, and I had a lot of friends. I love to dress up. Here I am doing putting, mini golf. Putting is what it's called in England, which is where we were. And I love my family. But sadly, something happened that really changed my sense of who I was. When I was 6, I was told that I needed to go on a diet. Now, when you're told you need to go on a diet when you're 6, you just kind of go, okay, whatever you say, Mom, that must be the thing to do. And I went for it. I trusted her, right? And she told me that I needed to lose weight. I didn't really know what that meant, but pretty fast I found out that when you're labeled overweight, people have free reign to basically bully you. They didn't have the term fat shaming back then, but that's really what happened. I was told I was fatso and I ate diet food, and I was in 2nd grade, right? My father would say things like, "Oh, well, you should like that because it's fattening." I was told that, "Oh, I miss your thin face. I want to see your thin face again." I was really confused. I just thought that life was pretty normal and I was a normal kid. But after that, I knew I wasn't normal anymore. And I knew there was something really wrong with me, and that it was me. I took it on. Like I've messed up somehow. So, being a good kid, I just made this promise to do everything I could to be lovable again, because I felt like I really was bad. So I went on diets on and off for pretty much my whole childhood, all my teen years. Like, this is a story that a lot of us have, some version of it, right? I restricted myself. I tried all the diets. And then when I was around 19, I was in college. I was finally in my own apartment living alone, and I had some time to really kind of collect myself and think. And I realized, this dieting stuff is not doing me any good. It's not making me happy, and I'm very confused about it. And I just made a promise to myself. I made a new promise. It wasn't that I was going to try to be lovable and do the right thing anymore. I decided I'm going to do everything I can to not be on diets. I'm never going on another diet, and I'm throwing away the scale. So that's what I did. There weren't any books to read about emotional eating or intuitive eating. I just kind of made it up as I went along. In my mid-20s, I found a teacher who taught me about tuning into my hunger and knowing what I wanted to eat. That was a huge leap forward for me. And, over the course of my life, I found support. I found other people. I found people to help me guide me on my way. And I feel really fortunate because I've had some really amazing teachers. So I just want to catch my thoughts here. And you know, over time, I've had the opportunity to really figure out, wow, a big piece of what's true is that what's wrong or why I eat, if I'm emotionally eating, it's actually nothing to do with food. It's to do with stress or something that's not making me happy in my life, something I'm reacting to. It's eating had become really more about managing my emotions than anything else. And now I've really figured out, if I'm having emotions, I've got something else to do, and I need to tune in. I've learned how to stop rejecting my body and feeling like there's something wrong with it, which was a lesson I learned so young. And I've really learned how to enjoy being in my body and look at myself in the mirror and just love myself and just say, there I am. That's who I am. I feel so fortunate that I've got here, and I really want to share some of the things I've learned along the way, because you know, it's actually pretty amazing. There are a lot of science-based body hacks that you can learn that are just simple. It's just understanding how our metabolism works. And one of the big things is the more pleasure we have, the better our metabolism functions and the better we can be at the right weight and size for our bodies, whatever that is. So I want to go back to my PowerPoint here. Just bear with me. So here's my family, just a little catch up on the previous story. These are the people that I was working with as a kid who had a lot of thoughts around what you're supposed to be like in your body. So I've learned to stop judging myself, stop second guessing myself, and stop bullying myself. So enough about me. Let's talk about you. So the body hacks will help you get in shape. I want to show you how eating what you love can actually help you lose weight. And I want to show you that you are your own best authority on what to eat. And I'm hoping that that's what you're going to be able to learn in this time together. So if you didn't already print this out, you might want to stop and print out the PDF that comes along with the movie. It's right next to the video on the page where you got this video. Let's start with arrival. So if you have the book, you can write these questions down on the paper. If you don't, just grab a piece of paper and a pen or your journal or notebook. Just for a minute, write down something that's getting in your way today or holding you back that you want to just kind of put aside. It might be a deadline, it might be something that happened earlier today, you know, whatever it is, just what you're going to put aside. And then what is something that you want to bring to this experience? You know, like optimism, hope, something that you're looking forward to, something that you're curious about, maybe a new way through. So this question is, if you could wave your magic wand and have what you truly want regarding food and body, what would it be? Like, what's that vision, that dream you have for yourself? When you close your eyes and you imagine the life that you would have, what would it look like? And if there was nothing and no one stopping you, and you had all the money, time, and other resources you needed, what would you be doing in your life? Like, what gives your life true meaning? Maybe you're already doing it. Maybe you want to do more of it. Maybe you want to be less inhibited to do the things that you love to do. So just write those down. I know I'm not giving you a lot of time. You can pause the video if you want. I'm going to keep moving though. So next, I'd like to do a meditation with you. So find a place to just sit quietly. Um, if you haven't already, shut the door so that you're not going to get disturbed. If you want to sit back in your chair, that's great. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. That's great too. I'm going to read a meditation to you. It's one that I use with my clients a lot. It's about arriving. So take a few breaths, but with your eyes open. Look around the space that you're in. Look at the ceilings, the windows, the doors. Notice how high the ceiling is. What we're doing right now is we're letting our animal body check out the space. You know, if you've ever seen an animal walk into a space, it's looking around, it's sniffing in the corners. If you're outside, which I suppose you could be, just notice the space around you, where there are boundaries, walls, buildings, trees. Notice any sounds you hear. Do you smell anything? What's in the air? Is the air moving? Is there a fan on or heating? Is it warm or is it cool? What colors do you see in your surroundings? Shapes? How does it feel to sit in your chair? So once your eyes and your other senses have checked out the space, face forward and let your eyes close if you want to. Start tuning in to your body. Sense how your feet are resting on the ground and how your bottom is resting on the seat. Now notice any other sensations in your body, the bend in your knees, how your spine feels. Is it straight or curved? Are your shoulders slumped over or fairly on top of your spine? Are you leaning back into your chair? Do you feel that breeze on your skin or in your hair? What's going on in your belly? Is there tension? Is it relaxed? Is it hungry? Is it full? And notice your chest as it's emptying and filling with air with every breath. Now notice what your body experiences in your clothing. Pay attention to where your body is touching your underwear, your socks and shoes, your shirt, your pants or skirt or dress. How does it feel? What are the sensations? Now, starting at the top of your head, slowly bring your attention down through your body, all the way through to your feet, like warm maple syrup slowly pouring down and warming you up. Notice each sensation as your attention passes through it. Do you feel warmth, coolness, relaxation, tightness, softness, pressure, energy, something else? Take your time and give each sensation your attention. Notice it without judging it or changing it. Remember to breathe and let your breath guide your meditation through your body. Then when you feel ready, gently and slowly bring your exploration to a close. Breathe more deeply, start to move and wiggle your fingers and toes, and at last open your eyes. So that's kind of different in a master class. I find that when I teach a class, it's just so great to arrive and really be here. So thanks for going on the ride with me. So this is a really busy diagram. I really want to talk to you about stress. It's part of the simple science that we're really starting to understand now. I'm going to make this a little easier by going through it piece by piece. So first of all, let's look at the sympathetic nervous system. This is what's engaged when you're feeling stress. It's the proverbial saber-toothed tiger that our bodies are designed to respond to. And unfortunately, They often respond to things as if it was a saber-toothed tiger. We rarely see those in our lives. It's more likely to be, again, a deadline or something that needs to happen with the family, or, you know, just having a huge list of to-dos. And often that stress, it can be overwhelming and never ending, and it can feel like a saber-toothed tiger is on top of your shoulders. So what happens is your eyes, your pupils expand, and your mental focus narrows. It's like only thinking about the thing it needs to get through this stressful time. Your breathing becomes fast and shallow, and you're less oxygenated, and actually your fat burning decreases. So when we lose fat, where does it go? It goes out through the breath. This little ducky is breathing out its fat. A body hack, a simple body hack, is that the lungs are the primary excretory organ in weight loss. I'm going to go back to that for a second, because did you know that? I only learned it recently. I think that's pretty amazing. We'll talk more about those sorts of things coming up. Your heart pumps faster, your blood pressure goes up, your pulse rate goes up. All of these things are exhausting for the body. And over time, if the stress never gets to go down, we never get into relaxation mode, which many people really don't get too much, it can take a toll. Our insulin resistance goes down. And when our insulin resistance goes down, we crave sugar. The other thing that happens is that our body slows down digestion. Actually, digestion really becomes a non-priority. If you're running from a tiger, you don't need to be digesting. You need to be running. Your blood and everything else needs to be going to your legs. So that can cause constipation, stomach pain, food sensitivities, and because of that, and because of the insulin, the body basically says, hey, not only could this be a time to run away, it could be a time where there's not going to be any food. So I'm going to slow down how we use up the food, and I'm going to start storing fat. It tends to go on the belly when that's happening. And our reproduction can really shut down. We can have menstrual issues, and it can be really hard to conceive. So what do you think? Is this person, are her cortisol levels going up? Is she under a huge amount of stress? How easy is it going to be for her to build muscle right now? Her body is not trying to restore or renew itself. It's just trying to survive. So here's a body hack. If we can relax more, and including relaxing about our body size and weight, that will actually help us lose weight in a faster, more sustainable way. So ironically, stressing out about our body size can create the stress response system. It can make us gain weight. We can eat the same amount of food. If we're stressed, we will gain weight. If we're relaxed, we won't. That has been proven in the labs. And boy, let me tell you, I love what the labs are telling us these days about our bodies. So, parasympathetic nervous system. This is when we're relaxed. This is the part of us that's turned on. It's the back part of it's the front part of our brain. It's the part that can think, that can be creative, that can be sympathetic. It's the part of us that has compassion and can have gratitude. Our mental focus can deepen. We can be more thoughtful. our breathing deepens. If we breathe lower down into our lungs, which is why meditation and deep breathing is so valuable, we actually can maximize our fat burning, as well as slow down our body and our brain, tell our brain, hey, it's safe. If I'm breathing slowly, it must mean there's not an emergency. That's another body hack. We can switch our brain, our body. We can switch from one stress response to relaxation response purely by using our breath. Heart slows down, our blood sugar is regulated, and hey, here's this gal again with her dessert. When our blood sugar is regulated, we can have dessert without worrying about it. It's not going to impact us in the same way. Also, our digestion is way more robust, and our elimination, and our hormones go back to normal levels. Relaxation, that's where it's at. And relaxation is a huge piece of pleasure. So, what's stressing you out? If you've downloaded the PDF, I've got this nifty little gal here that we created, where maybe after you've watched this, you can spend some time writing down the things you can control. Put those inside the superhero body. The things you can't control, they're outside of her body. And then think about these questions. So, the things you can't control, what do you notice? What do you feel? What do you decide about that? And the things that you can control, what do you notice? What do you feel? What do you decide about that? All right, I want to share with you the mind-body strategies from body eating. Again, this is where it's at. This is where it gets juicy. It's connecting what we become aware of and making physical changes. Awareness is key. Knowing what's going on is key. So first of all, eat slowly. Why does that make a difference? First of all, it takes you out of stress response. Just moving slower, doing things slower, gives your body more time to react to the food and know whether or not you're getting fuller or if it's time to eat a bit more. Eating slowly, eating with pleasure. Here she is, this gal in this picture. She's peaceful. She's got no distractions. She's taking a moment to breathe before she eats. She's going to be able to really pay attention to what she's eating, and that is critical. Eating with pleasure, paying attention, engaging the brain actually is another body hack. When the brain knows that it has eaten, that there hasn't been a distraction like I was on my phone the whole time or talking to somebody or watching TV on my computer, working, driving my car, all the ways we distract ourselves when we eat. If we're actually noticing how it tastes, thinking about where it came from, allowing ourselves to really enjoy it, the brain goes, oh, I had a meal. Awesome. Now I know I'm full. Awesome. It's actually a physiological response. Now, this one is also a science hack, body hack. Eat with the sun. What? What does that mean? Well, when we are eating at the warmest times of the day, which is for our bodies, the way we work after sleeping, we start out cold and we warm up. And then after around 1:30 in the day, our bodies start to cool again. The best time to eat, metabolism is all about the fire of the gut, the fire of the digestion. We eat when it's warm and sunny, we can eat more food. Our body actually works more effectively. It digests the food more efficiently. Eat the best quality you can. That is kind of a broad statement, right? If you can eat organic, eat organic. If you can eat non-GMO, do that. If you can eat food that's not been overly processed, do that. If you can drink filtered water or get a filter, do that. These things just basically help our bodies work with what we're putting in it. We're not designed for chemicals. We didn't have chemicals when we were cavemen or, evolving. And again, the better the food tastes, the better the quality it is, the more pleasure we're going to have, the more we're going to be able to fully savor our meals. And then we'll be more relaxed. And the more relaxed we are, the better we can metabolize our food. It's just a beautiful cycle. Okay, eat when you're hungry. Why? Because our brains are designed so that if we eat when we get the hunger signal, then it will give us the I've had enough signal. If we eat just to eat for entertainment, because we're nervous, because we're bored, because we're upset, we're not going to get that signal in the same way. It might take us a long time to feel full. And at that point, it might be way past the point of comfort. Finally, I've said this already, but just relax. Do whatever it does for you to relax. Read a book, put your feet up, take a bath, go for a walk, talk to a friend, do some yoga, whatever your relaxation is. And it needs to be relaxation, again, where you're not distracted. If you're watching TV, that could be relaxing, but it could also be taking you away from the sensations in your body. When we're doing mind-body solutions and looking for sustainable solutions for being in a good relationship with how we're living our lives, we need to be listening. This is our best resource for what's going on and what we need to be doing. All right, this is one of my favorites, move with pleasure. If we're working out just to lose weight, if we're pushing ourselves through tough routines and really making big demands on our bodies, exhausting ourselves, we're putting ourselves back into that stress reaction. We're making it hard for our bodies to do what they need to do to unwind, to go into deep rest, deep sleep, to renew and heal. But if we look for movement that we enjoy and we pursue that as our way of getting exercise, I want a different word for that. I'm not sure what it is. But if we can do that, we'll actually get a huge amount of benefit. We'll actually be able to be in our bodies in a way that is truly beneficial. If we're more relaxed, we'll be able to stretch better. Our muscles will be able to work better. It's pretty brilliant. So I encourage my clients to think about what they really love that's movement. Is it gardening? Is it swimming? Is it going for walks? Is it dancing? Based on the picture, I bet you can guess what one of my very favorites is. So here's another body hack. It's really about movement. So we all have those days where we are stressed out. We look in the mirror and we go, ugh. We think about what we're supposed to be eating and we're not feeling good about our bodies. So we think about maybe we should go back on that diet and, all of the things, all of the reasons why we're not okay, we're not good enough, we're not meeting our own sense of standards. Those times can be really hard to get out of. And try as we might to speak positive affirmations or just decide to change our minds, it can be really hard to do it. I love this quote from Mark David. The royal road to a healthy self-image is embodiment. I have found this to be true over and over and over again. I'm feeling crummy. I just need to get in my body. Well, that sounds pretty, I don't know, woo-woo, but you know what it really means is what can I do that I enjoy? What can I do that feels good? Maybe I need to go dig my garden bed or go for a walk or get on my bike or pet the cat or have a bath or, there's any number of things. It's really helpful to know what those are so that if you are having a bad day and you're not feeling good about yourself, you can just go ahead and run that bath or take 5 minutes and do some deep breathing or get a hug from somebody. It can really make such a huge difference. And it's simple, right? And it's totally within your power. All right, time to get into the lab. I love the lab. As I said earlier, it's so valuable. It's often, it's so easy to think, oh, I know how I am in those situations, but actually miss a whole bunch of the details. When we go in the lab, we take data. We think that what we're hungry for might be, an ice cream sundae, but when we go in the lab, it turns out, well, actually, it was bananas with nuts on top and maybe a little chocolate sauce, or maybe it wasn't that at all. Maybe I needed to not eat and I needed to go put my feet up or my legs up the wall or whatever. So let's see what we've got in the lab here. So these are in the PDF, the workbook. This is called What's on Your Menu. Now, this was one of my first big breakthroughs, was learning how to know what I was hungry for, because I often thought I knew, but often it wasn't true. Sometimes we're hungry for things because somebody else is eating it, or we saw it in a commercial, or, we walk past the bakery and we smelled pastries, whatever. But often that's what our brain is saying. But what is our body saying? I find this chart to be really helpful. And if you print it out, you can use it. You can start to use this. Like, I recommend doing it a little while before you're actually in an eating situation. Like, maybe if you know you're going to cook dinner, sit down with it and think, what sounds good? What do I feel like? Is it sweet, sour, salty, spicy, umami? Is it mild? Is it smooth, crunchy, creamy, chewy, crispy, slurpy, soft? Is it hot and substantial? Is it hot and liquid? Is it room temperature? Is it cold? Is it icy? It's just a checklist. It's easy when you see it there, it's easy to go, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. In my example here, I filled it out and I came up with, oh, I want a baked potato. Really awesome. So I really encourage you to try this out. Another huge breakthrough for me early on in my journey was the hunger scale. You've probably heard of it. It's pretty well known, and there's a few different versions of it out there. If you look on the left side, there are basic numerical categories to represent whether you're over hungry, you're kind of normally hungry, or you're over full. And on the right side are the qualities of the sensation. So it's kind of interesting. If you look, the qualities here are pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. And if you look, the unpleasant sensations are when you're over hungry or over full. The pleasant sensations are right as you're getting ready to eat and when you've just had a comfortably full meal, not an overly full meal. And then there's the last sensation, which to me is like where the mystery lies. Feeling neutral. So when you're in the prime part of the normal eating range, it feels neutral. It looks to me like there's a category number 8 that's overfull. I think that's a typo. I don't think that that's a neutral feeling. The neutral feeling is when we're just like Goldilocks. We're not too full and we're not too hungry. One of my favorite experts on this topic, Janine Roth, she said, it's when you're just the right fullness that you could still go out and do something you love, like dancing or hiking. You know, you've still got some energy. So let me give you some more tips on embodied eating. I've already said this, but wait until you're hungry. It just makes it so much simpler to know when to stop. Tune into right now. Don't try and come up with the meal plan or come up with how you're going to eat for the rest of your life. Just take it meal by meal, maybe day by day, because sometimes we have to plan, right? But really let yourself, especially at the beginning of your journey, where if you really are choosing to go for sustainable long-term changes in your relationship with food, just be curious about how you feel right now. Stay in the lab. Just keep trying things. Know that it's not all going to be easy and it's not all going to work out right, but just keep asking yourself questions. Keep exploring. Stay curious. Prioritize you. You know, that can look different ways for different people and different lifestyles, but really give yourself those moments where you can have a meal that truly satisfies. For instance, I'll give you an example out of my own life. We have a kitchen table. It's always covered in stuff. I want to sit down and eat. I have to ask people to move it, move their computers, move their books, their stuff, their junk, their old lunches. I just set myself up a table in another room. It's got a tablecloth. It's clear. I always know I can go eat in there. I don't have to fight with the stuff. And be a B student. So many of us who struggle with eating and body issues we're type A students. We want to be perfect. We want to get it right. We want to do it all right. And it crushes us when we don't get an A in everything we do. And I'm really encouraging you to try to let that go. Cut yourself some slack. Don't expect it to all be right all the time. Don't be a perfectionist about how you eat and how your body is. Be good enough. So, what about you? If you want to jot this down or find the page in the book, you could write these down or do it later. How would you classify yourself? Do you normally eat fast or moderately or slowly? How hungry are you right now? If you were to look at the hunger scale, what rating would you give yourself? Using the what's on your menu checklist, what food sounds good to you right now? And once you figure out what that food is, how does it feel to you? How do you feel about it as a food choice? Would you see it as good or bad, and why? I really want to tell you that food is not the enemy, and it's also not the problem, and it's also not the solution. We are not broken, and we don't need fixing. I thought I was when I was a little kid, but I learned that I'm not, and I can guarantee you, you're not either. This little chart is in the PDF. I love it. How to sit with discomfort. This is part of being a B student. When we feel things that are uncomfortable, it can be so easy to want to rush straight into something that will make it go away, like a distraction, computer, food. It can be any number of things. If we can resist the urge to be distracted, and we can hang in. Our body will relax, our nervous system will settle. We can say to the sensation, "Oh, hi, old friend. I know you. You are welcome here." If we treat it as a familiar friend rather than an enemy or something bad, we might have a different experience this time. If we can simply witness our sensations and hang in there, the feeling eventually passes. So I'd like to invite you to make a commitment to yourself. What can you bring with you that you've learned today? What's one thing you're going to try? And how is that going to help you? What are the questions that come up? What do you want to know more about? What are you unsure about? What maybe wasn't clear? And how are you feeling? What's one word? And where do you want to go with this? This is your life. You get to choose how it goes. We don't get to choose all the things, actually, but you get to choose how you react to all the things. And I'd really like to help you find a way to know that I want to encourage you to know that it's possible to really be free of the stress and the worry and all of that comes with that food and body journey of the dieting rigmarole. My client Carly says that in her testimonial, I'm going to just read it. "I've lost 70 pounds while working with Sarah. And for the first time in my life, I have kept the weight off. This was possible because for the first time in my life, I did both the physical and the mental and emotional work. If it wasn't for Sarah, I would have probably gained the weight back." So I encourage you to sign up for a free consultation with me. It's a $100 value, but I'm offering it to you for making it through to the end of this masterclass. Congratulations. Just go to callwithsarah.com. That's easy to remember. And I would love to meet with you and talk about your questions and what you're looking to do different in your life. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for hanging in there all the way to the end. I truly look forward to hearing from you. Please reply to my email and let me know how it's going and what questions you have. Be well.